Hi guys, welcome to the Honeybee Knits podcast. My name's Melissa and today is Monday, October 9th, 2017, and I am coming to you from about 45 minutes north of Cincinnati. If this is your first time joining the podcast, welcome. I hope that you enjoy it. I welcome any comments, feedback. Just make sure you comment below. Let me know if there's anything that you'd like to see. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. You'll notice that I have uploaded, by the time you see this video, I will have uploaded 4 videos. So I have some really fun stuff going on and it just felt overwhelming to put it all in one podcast. So I decided to break it out a little bit. So the first video was a video tutorial on how I knit. I've gotten a lot of questions about my method of knitting, so I went ahead and filmed a little short video. It's not the best video quality in the world, but I think it does the trick. If you have any questions on that, let me know. The second video was a giveaway video. So I went ahead and I drew winners for the September sock knit along and the Whip It Thursday knit along. So make sure you check out that video to see if you won, because I'm probably only going to give you about a week or until the next time I podcast to get back to me and let me know that you've seen it. Since it is a separate video, it's shorter, so I don't give as much. I'm not going to give it as much time as I normally would if you had to watch a 2-hour podcast. So make sure you're watching that, and if you've won, contact me so I can get you your prize. And then the third video was the 4 questions, 3 answers challenge, which I was tagged by Brooke Knits of a Knit Soul podcast. That video was a lot of fun to record. So I just finished recording that, so I'm excited to get that edited and uploaded for you guys to check out. And then this one is my weekly podcast. So welcome to the craziness. It has been about a week and a half since I podcasted last. I decided to wait until today for 2 reasons. One, so if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that my husband's company has decreased in size. My husband was, we were worried there for a minute that he was going to be one of them. He is safe for now. His contract is not up until the end of September of next year, so hopefully before then he gets signed on to another contract, or he can find somewhere else. However, the company he works for is based out of Washington, D.C., and they have closed their office doors in Dayton, Ohio, which is where my husband's working from. So he is now, although the office is closed, they still have 2 Dayton employees, and my husband is one of them, and they work from home full time now, whereas before they worked from home 2 or 3 days a week and they went into the office 2 or 3 days a week. So he is working from home full time. So he used to go into the office on Wednesdays, and then he went straight to game night with his friends, which is why I podcasted on Wednesdays. And now he is home all week. So I'm not exactly sure what the new podcasting schedule is going to be. I most likely will continue to podcast even when he's home, because I've done it before. I just prefer not to. It just makes me feel kind of awkward talking to a video camera when my husband could potentially be listening. Oh well. Anyway, so the reason I waited to today is because I work for a mortgage company and we honor bank holidays, and today is Columbus Day. So I had today off work. My husband is in DC on a business trip, and so I decided today's the perfect day to podcast. So I've got lots of stuff to share with you guys today. I have a ton of new cast-ons, lots of new projects to show that I have not shown on the podcast yet, and a few acquisitions. I do not have any FOs. I was on my way to having an FO that you've seen before. So I blocked my color craving shawl, and I say blocked my color craving shawl because it was too large. I block outside in the summertime, and it was too large for my table that I have out there. And so I didn't really pin out, I did the picot bind off, and I didn't really pin out the picots. It seems like it blocked out okay. I just pinned out the edges. But I haven't really had a chance to really look at it to see if it's the way I want it. So we'll see. we will see if I will be reblocking that or not. But regardless, I didn't get the ends woven in, so it's not technically an FO. I mean, I showed it as an FO when I finished it. I showed again when I really finish it, and that's after blocking and ends are woven in. So that is to come. I love these things. I do not get them very often. It is the caramel frappe from McDonald's, and they are fantastic, but they are really bad for you. And my friend came to my house to help me dye yarn, not to help me dye yarn, but to keep me company while I was dyeing yarn. It's been a little over a week now. It was about a week and a half ago, and she had brought a caramel frappe with her. I was like, ooh, that looks really good. So I went to go get one, and they were like, our machine isn't working right now. And I was like, okay, well, that means I didn't need it, and I came home. And then I was out running errands, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to stop and get one. And I stopped, and they said, our machines are being cleaned right now. I'm like, okay, well, I'm really not meant to have one. And then today I woke up kind of later. So I woke up early because my husband called me after he took a shower, before he had to go to his meeting, and before he ate breakfast. And we were talking, and he woke me up at like 6:30, and I didn't go to bed until like 1:30, 2 o'clock, because I was knitting, and I'll show you what I was knitting on in a few minutes. But anyway, so he called me, and it was like 6:30 in the morning, so I sat up and I was wide awake, and I took the dog out, and I went back upstairs, and I just kind of like was laying in bed talking to him, and I had my needles out, and I had knit a few stitches, and he was like, okay, I gotta go. And I was like, okay, bye, see you later, love you, bye. And next thing I know, I'm waking up at 10:30 because Levi texted me, and I've got my knitting needles on my lap, and I was asleep in the bed. So my original plan was to sleep until 9 or 9:30 and get up and get moving. I didn't get up till like 10:30. So I was really hungry, and I just wanted a quick fix. So I went to breakfast, to McDonald's to get breakfast. And it was a little after 10:30. They stopped selling breakfast at 10:30, but they have an all-day breakfast menu. So I was like, I'll just get it off of that. So I heard the car in front of me order, and she ordered a cheeseburger Happy Meal. And they said, we're not ready for lunch yet. It won't be ready for another 9 minutes. And she said, okay, well, never mind then. And she drove off. So I get up there and I order breakfast, and everything's all fine and dandy. And then I get up to the window, and the lady goes, we're not serving breakfast anymore. And I said, what are you serving? And she kind of looked at me confused, and I said, because somebody told the lady in front of me that you weren't serving lunch either. And she's like, yeah, we're not ready for lunch. So are you serving nothing? I was really confused. So I was like, just give me whatever sausage, biscuit, or cheeseburger you've got. Like, I just need to eat, and give me one of these. So I'm like, these people. I say these people, but you know what? I worked in fast food, and it is difficult to, in that environment where it's supposed to be fast paced, and you're on your feet all day, and it's hot and it's greasy, and you got different types of customers in your ear, and it's just, I get it. I totally get it. But that's exactly why I'm not in fast food or retail anymore, because I couldn't deal. I'm chatty Cathy today, huh? So back to knitting. So I will get started with my whips. So the first whip that I have been spending a lot of time on this week is my Cozy Memories blanket. I made a promise to I made a goal at the very beginning of this year to start a Cozy Memories blanket and have 365 squares on it by the end of the year. I did really well for the first 5 months. I knit 1 square a day for about 5 months. And then I took 2 weeks off, and then I got caught up, and then I took like 3 or 4 months off. So I have a lot of catching up to do. I have about 150 some squares on my blanket, and we're at day like 270 something in the year. So I'm supposed to have like 120 more squares than what I do have. So I calculated it, And I think last week I mentioned I was going to do 2 squares a day from now to the end of the year, and that should get me caught up. Well, I wasn't counting the additional days that are going to occur from now to the end of the year. So I figured out that I have to do 3 squares a day for 16 days, and then 2 squares a day from now until the end of the year in order to have 365 squares on my blanket by the end of the year. So I started 3 squares a few days ago, but before that I had, for the last week I was working 2 squares a day, so that's 14 plus 6 squares from the last 2 days, and then I'll add 3 today, so that'll be 9. So anyway, regardless, I've been working a lot on my Cozy Memories blanket, and it's really hard for me to show on camera, so what I did is I took a few pictures from different angles, and I will insert them here. So that is what I've been working on, and what I'll do next time is I will do before and after photos. I will show this week's photo for before, and then I will take a new photo of the after so you guys can see my progress, and it'll help keep me accountable. Whew, I'm talking fast today. So with that, let's get into the second whip. So I think I'm going to show you this in the order that I cast it on. So the first project that I cast it on was my, was it this one? I think it was. Is my, Stephen West Speckled Pop Mystery Knit Along. And maybe I did show this on the last podcast. I can't remember. But I'm a little bit further. Regardless, I've knit quite a bit on it this week. So if you do not want to see spoilers, make sure to turn away now because I'm about to show it. So this is how mine is turning out. And I adore it so much. I love it. I really do. It smells really good. It smells so good because of my lotion. But so this is all I have. So the way it's worked is you do 10 main color 1 sections, wedges, with these pops of color in between. And then you do 5 melding sections right here. And then you do 10 more main color 2, and then you'll do 5 main color 2 and main color 3, and then 10 main color 3. And that's the first clue. So it is a really long first clue. I'm way behind because the second clue is out and I'm not even close to being done with the first clue yet. So this is what I have on this, and I'm really excited to get back to it. However, I have some other stuff that has to get done before I work on this. So I plan to pick this up later on in the week. I'm using hedgehog fibers. If you want to see the colors I'm using, you can go back to my previous videos. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it's turning out. I think it looks gorgeous. It's one of my favorite ones that I've seen so far, which is a good thing, considering it's going to be mine. And I can't wait to get to the next color because I want to see how that's going to work in. So that is that. And that is what I spent most of my time on this week. Besides my Cozy Memories blanket. So the next thing that I cast on was my, what's it called? Oh, the next thing that I cast on was the sweater for our holiday sweater knit along that I am hosting with Brooke Knits from A Knit Sold podcast. If you want to hear more about that, go check out my video, about giveaways, because I also talk about knit along information in that video. So I am going to be knitting the honeycomb sweater, and it's in the most recent Knit Picks magazine, and I have cast it on the ribbing. So it is worked bottom up and it's worked in pieces. So this is the back piece. So the ribbing is done on the back piece, and the pattern calls for 2 inches of ribbing, and I did 3 just because I like a longer rib. And here's my little progress keeper. It is from Sucre Miniatures, and I might have to go to the grocery store and get some of these to eat. Well, my hubby is in DC because I really love them. And I don't get them that often. I don't need them. I wanted something sweet last night and I didn't have anything, so then I realized that tonight I'm definitely going to make a sweets run to the grocery store. My hubby's not a sweets person, so we don't buy sweets a whole lot, but when he's not here, it's kind of nice to have them. So anyway, so super cute, and I could just eat it up because it looks so good. So I hope to start the cabling this week. Even if I just get one repeat of the cabling done, I would be happy with that. And let me show you what the pattern will look like, because I did a swatch. So, gotta tilt it so you can see in the light. So you can see this is the honeycomb pattern. So the best representation is going to be this middle one right here, and it's repeated. So like there'll be another honeycomb here and here and here and here. So it's repeated all up and down the sweater. And then you also have this arrow pattern on either side of the honeycombs on the actual sweater itself, and then up and down the arms on the sleeves. So I didn't quite get gauge on this because I didn't quite get gauge. I was a little over, which is fine, because the pattern calls for 3 to 5 inches of positive ease. So since my gauge was a little off, the way that it was off is I was getting less stitches per inch, which means the sweater will be wider. So it'll work out perfect. It should work out perfectly. So I'm excited about this. And then I mentioned my husband and I are going to have matching sweaters because I accidentally ordered the same yarn from Knit Picks for both sweaters. So this is Wool of the Andes in the Marble Heather colorway from Knit Picks. Although we're having the same color sweater with the same yarn, it's going to be different patterns. So his is going to be a flax and mine is the honeycomb sweater. So mine's a lot more complicated. So anyway, so I'm hoping that we can have matching sweaters to wear on Christmas. The third, I told you, I've cast on a lot of things. So the third cast on that I have this week is the Boo Knits Knit Along. Again, this is going to be a huge spoiler. So if you're knitting that and you don't want to see what Clue 1 looks like, then turn away. I am using hedgehog fibers in the Spell colorway, and it is lace weight. It's kind of blowing out. See, it's really blowing out, but it's kind of like, it looks kind of like neon-y. I mean, I guess it is kind of neon-y. It's showing a little bluer in the camera than what it is. It's more of a purple, but I like it. I like it a lot. And it is a beaded lace pattern, so I have these triangle beads. And I mentioned several times that I use the triangle beads because they catch the light a lot better than seed beads. And when you're putting dark beads on a dark color, you want either square or triangular beads, because otherwise the beading will get lost in the shawl or the pattern, and it's kind of a waste of your time to be beading at all because you won't be able to see them. So by getting the triangular beads, they'll catch the light and you'll definitely be able to see them. So here is Clue 1. And what I love about her patterns is that they're broken down. This is an entire clue. So her Clue 2, I've looked, is 36 rows. That's it. She breaks it down because it is a lace pattern and it is beaded lace, and it can get overwhelming and complicated. She breaks it down into smaller clues, so you just take it one chunk at a time. I like how it's turning out, but in the pattern, you do a section of purl stitches that is supposed to make a stockinette. So it's garter, but then you purl to make a stockinette cross, so that you're making sort of a cross out of purl stitches. And I think it's because of the type of yarn I'm using. I hope that others are turning out better than mine, because I can't see the cross at all. So I debated on not doing those purl stitches anymore because you can't really tell anyway, but I think I'm just going to follow the pattern as is. Either way, I like it, and it's, I don't know how to show you, so let's stretch it out here. You can kind of see where the cross is supposed to be. It just doesn't look like a cross, and there's no good way to show this at all. There's not a way to show it. You can kind of see, so one there, one there, one there, one there. You can kind of see where it's different. So you can tell there's supposed to be something there, you just can't tell what it is. So I don't know. I think I'm just going to keep going the way it is. I don't knit these. Oh, I was going to show. Let's take a break and get it. I don't knit these as I don't knit these for the finished object. I knit them for the experience of knitting them. So if I have a mistake or something like that where I can't tell what it's doing, I don't fret over it too much because I'm just knitting it to learn the technique. So it's not really a practical shawl to wear because it's a beaded lace shawl, and even if I'm dressing up to go somewhere, I'm not wearing beaded lace shawls. And nobody that I know would wear them either. So I'm just kind of knit them to say that I knitted them and have them to say that I have them. So I'm not too worried about what the final object looks like. My last cast on, guys. So I swatched. My husband is in DC, and I decided I was going to knit him a sweater while he was gone, and I'm going to try to get it mostly finished. I'm not going to pressure myself to get it completely done, but my goal, and I hate saying this because I failed at the 24-hour sweater challenge knit along, and I don't want to give myself unattainable goals, but I would really like to at least have the body done before he gets home, which is entirely possible. I have the rest of today and all of tomorrow to work on it. So, and his flight doesn't land until like 11 p.m., 11:30, so I've got plenty of time to work on it. So we'll see. But anyway, I swatched on Saturday when he was here so that it would be ready to go on Sunday after I dropped him off at the airport. And I did a live video on Instagram last night where I was showing I had cast it on and I was working on the collar. So I got the collar done, and this is what I have. So I worked on this last night until about 1:30, and it's kind of hard to see. It's the Flax pattern, and again, it's out of that Marble Heather colorway from Knit Picks Wool in the Andes. So I'm knitting the large size. I'm still doing the raglan shaping, so it's only, I'm trying to make sure I don't lose stitches here. It is, what was I trying to say? I don't remember. It's flax like, oh, so right now it looks like that's where it comes down at, but it's technically not. It just looks that way because the stitches are squished together on the needle. But basically, as long as I'm doing increases, it's continuing to grow out into like a rectangle. And then it'll go down once I start splitting for the sleeves, or once I stop increasing. So for the large size, it tells you that you have to do 20 of the 2-row increase repeats, and I just finished repeat number 13. So I am well on my way. So I have 7 repeats left. However, every 2 rows you're adding 8 stitches. So if you think about it, last night I was getting really tired, and I was only on repeat 10, which meant I had 10 more repeats to go. And if you multiply that by 8, I'm adding 80 stitches overall. So I still have, the rows are going to continue to get longer, and it's going to take longer to finish the rows. But I got a really good start on this. I worked on it for about 3 hours last night. So hopefully I get a lot more done today. I wanted to split for the sleeves before I podcasted, but I decided that's valuable knitting time. So I could have sat here and I could have knit all morning and not podcasted until this afternoon. Or I could have recorded the podcast when I'm fresh and been working on this while I edit. So as soon as I do my 3 cozy memory blanket squares for the day, which I've started the first one, but I'm only a few rows in because I only did enough to do a tutorial. And as soon as I finish those 3 squares, I will pick this back up and work on it all night. And it is kind of scratchy, but he'll wear an undershirt, so it shouldn't bother him too much. But yeah, so I'm excited because I want him to have a sweater before he gets back, or at least be able to try the body on. I would love to be done with the body by the time he got back. I've used 1 ball, and I'm all about 3/4 of the way done with my second ball. Out of, I think, 14 or 16 or something like that. So that was a lot of whips, guys. I've done a lot of casting on. So let's talk about acquisitions. So don't ask how I got this. I found it on the black market. But I got a skein of Mitchell's Creations in the Garden Blossom colorway. Oh my god, it's gorgeous. I love it so much. It's a 4-ply fingering weight, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards per 100 grams. And it is gore. Look at that green. I am in love with Mitchell's Creations yarn, and I have ordered a sock blanket and a project bag from her, so those should be arriving soon, or shipping soon. So I'm excited about that. And then also I mentioned I am collecting the You Are Here mugs, and I went to Starbucks to pick up some mugs for the swaps, which I purchased 5. I've mailed out 3. I've received, okay, I purchased 6, mailed out 4, and received 1. So I know that there are, I think, 2 for sure. No, I received 2. And I know for sure that there's 2 more coming. So there's only 1 that I've mailed out that I'm not. I hope the person doesn't forget, but maybe when they get it, they'll get it. So that's one thing I'm a little worried about because, and I didn't really think it through. So I've done a ton of mini swaps, but I've only received minis back for like 3 of them. It seems like every time somebody contacts me to do a mini swap, I send out minis, and I would say probably 7 out of 10 times don't receive them back, which is awful. If you're going to participate in a swap, make sure that you're mailing out your swap, because it's not very nice to do that to people. Now, when it comes to minis, I'm not too overly concerned about it because it's just minis. What was I going to do with it anyway? But I'm worried about the mugs because I'm afraid I'm going to send one out because they are about 10 or 11 bucks. I'm afraid I'm going to send one out for a swap and not receive one in return. I guess I'm just going to have to be tougher and make sure that if for some reason I send one out and I don't receive one back, I'm like pushing that person. But I think everybody that I have organized a mug swap with, I trust. So I think everybody that I've organized one with so far, I'm not worried about that happening. I was just thinking about that the other night. Like in the future, I don't want that to happen. So I am still, with that being said, I'm still looking for quite a few mugs. So I'm not going to name the ones that I have, like, I've been offered a ton. But then when I asked for addresses, I haven't gotten a response, so I don't know if they're still interested or not. Which if they're not, that's fine. If you say that you want to do a mug swap and I haven't mailed one out yet, and then you change your mind and you don't want to do it for whatever reason, that is 100% okay. I completely understand. Just let me know, and I will find somebody else that has that mug and swap with them. So I showed the North Carolina one last week. I have quite a few that are supposed to be here this week, so I'm really excited to show you guys those when they get here. And then I went in to buy a bunch of Ohio ones so that I could send them out for my swaps. And my Starbucks was like, we randomly ordered this one. We're not sure why we have it here, but we do. And I was like, okay, I'll take one. So they had Twin City mugs in the Starbucks by my house, which is, oh, I love this blue. This is like my favorite blue ever. But anyway, they had Twin City mugs, which I think is like Minneapolis and St. Paul. Is that right? Let me look, because I can't remember. But the fact that they had those in an Ohio Starbucks, it was a little weird. Let's see, Twin Cities. But I wanted it for my collection, so I just bought it anyway. Yeah, it's Minneapolis and St. Paul. Don't ask why it was in Ohio, but I'm happy that I got it because it's super cute and I love that blue. So now I have the Twin Cities and North Carolina. And you know what? I gave away my Ohio. I had one for Ohio for me, but I ended up giving it in a swap. So I do need to pick up one of those for myself as well. But I basically cleaned them out when I went for swaps. That fell out. And then my friend Mary, so I showed on the giveaway podcast that I was giving away a Notions pouch from Bath and Body Works, and it was like honeybee themed. She had sent me one as a gift because she said that she messaged me weeks ago and said that she had saw one in Bath and Body Works and knew I had to have it, and she sent it. Which, the fact that she even was thinking of me, like, that is so sweet, and I love it so much. It was so incredibly special. So when I was doing this, she reached out to me and she's like, hey, do you have a California one? I was like, no, but I really love, like, I've never been to California, but like when I was a kid, I was like, I'm moving to California. Well, I also said I was moving to Alaska too. I wanted to live in Alaska really bad. I'm not quite sure why. But anyway, I was like, I love California. I want to live in California. California is like one of those states where I just feel it's like, you know how some people feel about London? That's how I feel about California. It's super weird and bizarre. I'm not quite sure. Actually, the entire West Coast, like, probably because I've never been off the East Coast, it seems like super cool that these people live where I've never been. I don't know. Anyway, she's from California. She's like, do you want the California mug? I was like, 100% yes. And a couple days later, it was here, and I sent her Ohio. I have not sent her Ohio one out. I was going to send it out, and I kept forgetting because I was sending out my packages from my shop, and I forgot about my swaps. And I was going to send them out today, but then it's Columbus Day, so we have no mail today. So I will definitely 100% send it out tomorrow. Anyway, look, it's the California mug. Oh, I love this guy. I love the blue so much. So it's got the trees and the mountains and then the city and then the ocean, and I love it. So I love these mugs so much. They're like perfect. They're so perfect. And I was telling Levi, or maybe it was Jason, I think it was Levi, I literally cannot wait until it gets cold outside because I am ready for hot coffee. I can't drink hot coffee when it's hot out because I have issues with controlling my body temperature, like my internal or my body temp. Anyway, if I get hot, I get very cranky, like it feels like my skin's on fire, and whenever I drink a hot drink, it feels that way. So, if it's not cold outside. This gray hair is really driving me nuts, guys. Maybe it's just a reflection. It's not really a gray hair. Anyway, so I can't wait for it to get cold because I have all these beautiful mugs that I want to use, and Just not cold enough yet for tea and coffee. I love it. But my husband is doing some research to find me a few racks to hang these on, and I've gotten a lot of great recommendations. So we are going to display these in our kitchen, so I'm so super excited. But I need more because I only have 3, and he's gonna buy me like 2. I think they hold like 30 each. So I need some mugs to fill that up. So hit me up for some swaps, people. So that is my lovely mug acquisitions. And I forgot to mention that Mary also sent me a $5 gift card to Starbucks, which was completely unnecessary, but thank you so much. I am using it tomorrow. I already have my plan. So today I have my McDonald's breakfast. Tomorrow I'm going to go get, I'm going to eat a bagel at home, and I'm going to go get a coffee from Starbucks, which that's typically a treat for me. I don't normally just go out and buy them. I make them at home because I have my Keurig. But, yeah. So, I forgot to mention what needles I was using for my sweater for my husband. And I did purchase a set of Chiaogus. I really like the Chiaogu needles, sock needles. And so I figured I'd give these a shot. And I have to say that the casing is like gorgeous compared to what comes with Knitter's Pride, because they don't even give you a reusable case. They just send it in like a box, and then you have to buy your own case. And then I went a little overboard on cables. So I think there's like 3. These say 3 pieces. So there's like 3 of every size. Plus what it came with. Oh well, I'm sure I'll use them. Chiaogu review. At first I was like, I like these a lot, but I don't know that I like them more than my Knitter's Pride. And then as I got going, I realized that I wasn't struggling with the join, which I do struggle with the join on my melodies. And so I think these are officially taking the spot of my melodies. I know people prefer lightweight needles, but I actually like the needles to feel like they have sustenance to them. And so that's part of the reason why I wasn't so sure about the Chiaogus, because they are super lightweight, but I love them. So, and this is a funny acquisition. So I fall for the Instagram advertisements every freaking time. Remember the bee shoes? That was Instagram. This next thing, so I take a lot of medication, for different health issues. I have thyroid and blood pressure and depression well, anxiety, not really depression, but anxiety. So I saw this and I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. And then I clicked on it and it was like free with shipping, and shipping was like $3, and I was like, I'll take it. So I got this for like $3 on Instagram. And what it is it has one of the, I can't tell, but the Monday through Sunday pill things. So it's a water bottle, and you put your pills in there like you normally would on your thing, and then you just attach it to your water bottle, and you have it on the go. So it stinks. I need to wash it. I know when the packaging was like, oh, I was on the phone with Levi. I was like, this smells so bad. I hope it's not yarn. And then I opened it up and it was the water bottle. So I need to like soak it in bleach because it really smells bad from the plastic. But anyway, it's just a cheap little bottle, and it's kind of cute, and it's pink, and I like it. So I bought it. I'm ridiculous. It'll probably get broken like a month. So I have 2 more yarn acquisition, well, 3 yarns, but 2 different dyers. So you know my Nomadic Yarns obsession with the Harry Potter yarns, and I have quite a few on order, especially she has some newer colorways, and one colorway that I missed out on before. So the one I missed out on was Death Day Party, and I had not ordered this before she retired it, and she's only bringing this one back now for Halloween, so I jumped on it to order it. So that's Death Day Party. And then this is one of her newer colorways, and it's Arthur Weasley. So I now have all the Weasleys. Yay! So, yeah. So, of course, I get it in sparkle. So I have, I don't know, 2 more Harry Potter colorways coming. And I have, a Christmas colorway coming that I have been eyeing for like over a year, and I kept saying, no, stick to Harry Potter only. And I just had to get it. I think it's called Sugar Plums. Oh my god, it's so pretty. I'm excited about that one, but I just ordered it, so it'll be a couple months before I get it. But anyway, super pretty. Love her yarns. My fave. And then Cozy Knitter, if you are subscribed to Cozy Knitter and you do not want to see her, what month is this? I don't think it says. I think, okay, so this would be her September colorway, right? Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is her September. Yeah, it has to be her September colorway. It is called Whisper. I've said before, I'm not a fan of the muted colors, but her yarn's gorgeous, and I know this will work up really prettily. And if I decide that I don't want it, then it'll be a future giveaway. I haven't decided yet. Jury's still out. I think it will make some beautiful socks. It's just not my style. I think it's pretty. It's just not my style. So we'll see what happens. Haven't decided yet. That's 2 months in a row where I wasn't exactly keen on the color. And she seems to be dyeing up colorways for her shop more frequently, whereas before it was really difficult to get anything from her shop. She would do a shop update and there wouldn't be that much in it, and they would be gone super quick. But she seems to be caught up, and she seems to be ahead, and she seems to be dyeing a lot of quantities at a time. So this is 2 strikes. 2 strikes as in I like the colorway, but I'm not like 100% on it. And if I get a 3rd strike next month, I will for sure cancel her monthly club, but I will continue to purchase some of the classic colorways she has out there, because there's a lot that I want. So the classic color, I'll basically just purchase 1 or 2 a month in place of doing the monthly subscription, because I still love her yarn so much. That is all the acquisitions. So I promised that I would show a few things off that I've never shown on the podcast. So I'm going to take a quick break and go grab those, and I will be right back. Hey, I'm back. So as you can see, I had a wardrobe change. So this is my beaded lace shawl from last year. And this is a Boo Knits, her mystery knit along for last year. And it's kind of hard to show off lace, but there were so many mistakes in this, so many, and I don't even know where they are. That's how much it doesn't matter. I just fudged like crazy, but a super complicated pattern, but the way she breaks it down made it feel systematic, so it was fine to knit. I used Miss Bab's yarn. I don't remember what colorways, but basically there was a big skein and a little skein. And I remember it wasn't the colorways that I wanted, but it turned out fine. And then I'm trying to show you the beads. And this, my friends, is why you don't use certain color of beads on certain colors of yarn. So these beads are super difficult to see. And the part that I really messed up on was the edging. So you can definitely tell with the bead placement how like sporadic it is, and it doesn't really look like there's a pattern. So down here is where I did all my mess ups. So I just kind of fudged it, and it looks fine. You can't tell that it's not the way it's supposed to be. And I blocked it, but of course lace stretches, so it was super tiny before I blocked it. Overall, it's really pretty. My favorite part about it is this, like this purple squiggle down there. I love that. Super long, super wide, so it's perfect to wear. But I don't know. It's not my favorite to wear. I'm not like, I'm in love with it because I made it, and it's a super difficult pattern, so I'm proud of myself for making it. But I know it's not perfect, and I've never worn it. I just kind of made it to say that I did. So there's my boot knits from last year, and then while I'm at it, I will show you my Stephen West from last year, because I've never shown this. This is my color building block shawl, and it's just weird. It's just weird the way it increases out, and I don't like the shape of it, so I don't wear it. But this is what it looks like. So I used dyed in the wool on Etsy. As you can see, it's super long, and it's deep too, but it's only deep in the middle. So like you have these like tails. It's just not a practical shawl. It really isn't. But it was super fun to make, and I loved every minute of it. I had a blast making it, and I'm glad I did. I'm not 100% on the color choices, but I just bought a kit. I probably could have done the color blending differently, but I don't know. It's kind of meh. It's another one of those meh. But the thing is I remember knitting these while watching Gilmore Girls last year, and this thing is so deep. It covers my entire front. Probably could wear it like a poncho. I don't know what this thing. But, anyway, I remember watching Gilmore Girls and knitting on it, this and my boo knits and binging, and I just had a fantastic October last year making these, and I had so much fun doing them, even though both of them I've never worn. Spent a month making 2 shawls and never wore either of them, but I'm still super happy, like I'm proud of them. They were fun to make, and I am definitely more of a process knitter than a product knitter. So I knit more for the process than I do the product. However, this year I have knit so much that I've actually used. So I think my knitting this year has definitely transformed into being more practical, which is awesome because I'm knitting things that I can use. And I think honestly the turning point was this. Making these 2 shawls, spending so much time on them, and then not wearing them. That was pretty much the turning point. And that's when I started looking into sweaters and practical shawls and that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. I enjoyed every minute of knitting these, so I have no regrets. But they just kind of, it's a shame, they just kind of sit around. So, yeah, I wanted to show those to you. So, that's pretty much it. Week in review has been a lot of knitting this week. A lot of podcast watching. I watched so many podcasts this week. I've caught up on all of the new ones that have come out. So, just to name a handful, of course, I watch Brooke of the Knit Soul podcast, Levi, WTF Knitting, Fairy Little, Mina Phillip of Knitting Expat, Yarn Barfs, Crafty Mama, drawing a blank now, Miss Sally Makes, of course, Miss Sally Makes, Knit for Brains, what else do I watch? Die Another Day, Molly Klein Design, Skein Game podcast, let's just pull it up. I'll tell you all the podcasts that I actively watch. I'm subscribed to more, but I have not had time to start watching all of them. But I subscribe to them so that way when I'm ready to watch, when I'm ready to add one to my rotation, because I told you I go back and I watch all the previous episodes and get caught up. So when I'm ready to add one to my rotation, they're already on there. So I have Knitting X-Pack, WTF Knitting, Crafty Mama 73, Fairy Little, Grocery Girls, of course, Brooke Knits, Hey Sister Podcast, Dye Another Day, Knit for Brains, Diary of a Yarn Snob, The Girls in the Yarn Cafe, Molly Klein Design, A Homespun House, The Yarn Hoarder, The Yarn Burst, Miss Allie Makes, The Defiant Knitter, Wool Up Pike. I'm not sure how to say it, but I've been watching her from the very beginning. And she used to be called the No Name Knitting Podcast. Her name's Ida, and she lives in Sweden, and she is also a yarn dyer, but she does like natural dyes, so like avocado skins and flowers from her garden and things like that, so that's kind of cool. Skein Game Podcast, and that is all that I knit or that I watch regularly. I just started watching Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits, and I am on episode 14, which was from November of last year. So I have a lot of catching up to do with her. So that is what I'll be focusing on this week, is watching lots of her episodes, because I want to get caught up to her current episodes. I absolutely love her. I love Meg. I think she is fantastic. She uses both expensive yarns and cheaper yarns. She's not afraid to use acrylic. She has a certain style, and I love it. I love it so much. So I'm excited to watch some of her after I edit the videos today. So a lot of knitting, a lot of podcast watching, a lot of stress this week. I don't know. It's just been a week. I'm glad it's over. Today's my last day off work. I was off on Friday. I'm off today. I've got to work the rest of the week. My hubby comes home tomorrow. We don't really have any plans for the upcoming weekend. I'm excited about Halloween. My mom is moving, and she has a ton of Halloween decorations she's going to give us. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. So we're going to get to decorate this year, and we've got to pick out, it's kind of sad, but we've got to pick out a new Halloween costume for Izzy, because every year we dress her up. In the past, we had a duo costume for both Izzy and Root Beer, and we used those for about 4 years. Root Beer was a police officer, and Izzy was a prisoner, so that was kind of cute. So it was adorable for the last several years, and we just didn't feel right about using that same costume this year. It's not the same. So we are looking for a costume for Izzy, and Jason found one, but I don't know. We got to look for it, because my dad works for UPS, and he found one where, it's a UPS driver, but it's got like the fake arms holding a package. So we thought that might be adorable. But I gotta find out if I can get it on Amazon or where I could find that. We've talked about making her a Pokemon. She has quite a few nicknames. She's super fast. So we call her Ninja. Like she's a ninja dog, because she's like, she'll come out of nowhere. Like she's super quiet and super sneaky. And oh, this face. I love this face. Dat baby. I love that baby. Oh, I know, Levi, I can't show it right, but oh, my baby. And then we've talked about her nickname is Thumper, because she thumps her tail when you get close. Like she tries to keep a straight face and act like she's ignoring you, but her tail's going a million miles an hour, and it's pretty obvious that she knows you're there. So we call her Thumper. We call her Tink Tink because she tried to make friends with a skunk one night and got sprayed, and so ever since, Stink, but we Baby Talka and call her Tink Tink. So she's Tink Tink, she's Thumper, she's Ninja, she's got all kinds of nicknames. She probably doesn't even know what her real name is anymore. So we thought about trying to find a costume for one of those. So I don't know. Fun things to think about. I told you my animals are my kids, so me talking about finding a costume for my dog is like you talking about finding a costume for your kid. So there's that. That's pretty much what my life is. I've got lots of knitting plans this week, and I think I'm just rambling now, so I should probably go get editing the podcast and get them uploaded so that you guys can watch them. I'm really excited for all 4 videos that are going up today. I think that's it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. I had so much fun today. Thank you guys, even though I'm talking to myself, it kept me company, it kept me busy, kept my mind off the fact that my husband's not home. So thank you. And I will see you guys next week. Have a good week, guys. Bye.